Welcome to the fellowship. I'm recording this on Sunday, the 3rd of August 2025. This video is aimed at the leadership of the Christian faith in the UK and I guess the rest of Europe and other parts of the West, but mainly the UK. And it's a simple question that I'd like to ask the leadership, and that is, what is the point of you? What is the point of you? Let's start with the good old Church of England. With the recent votes in Parliament about extending the abortion or decriminalising abortion completely, no matter at what age, how old the child is inside a woman when they're aborted. Now, I want to use a different word than aborted, but you know what word I'm thinking about. But I won't. So with that recent vote, the Bishop of London, a frumpy liberal woman, said that we need to be kind and considerate and understanding about the poor women at this time. Okay. She did go on to talk about the rights of the unborn child, but not really strong enough. But the thing is, the church has always had a stance on abortion, and it's always been a strong one, but it's not anymore. We still haven't got an Archbishop of Canterbury, a role that's been in place for over 1400 years in England. Not that it really matters, because the lead person, the person who's probably going to get the job, is the Bishop of London. I can't remember her name, so do look it up yourself. But as I say, she is a frumpy liberal. So guess what the policies are going to be? One of the worst things ever, to allow women to be vicars and then bishops. She's going to be the first female archbishop, I'm sure. The stance on Islam is just pointless, pathetic. The church in Wales has just appointed a new archbishop. She's a lesbian, of course. I mean, be crazy not to be a lesbian. The Catholics were slightly stronger with their stance on the abortion bill. Sorry, going back to the Church of England quickly. A letter was written it says on the Church of England website, by 200 members of the clergy wrote a letter, an open letter, to the government, urging them to reconsider. And you think, 200, wow. And then when you realise there's about 20,000 clergy in the Church of England, that's about 1%. So 1% of the clergy in the Church of England felt morally compelled to sign an open letter. So 99% didn't. Again, what's the point of you? I like to go for rides on my motorbike. I like to just head off, normally for Sunday morning, if it's not belting down with rain. I don't really know where I'm going. I just follow my nose, get lost. I quite enjoy it. Just going down country lanes. You discover things, you come across things you've never seen before. Last Sunday I came across 2 churches. Both closed, of course. Old medieval churches, just closed up. Spoke to one of the locals. It's been closed for a while now. Then I went on to another place and I saw an old church and I thought, that looks lovely. So I stopped, and it was converted to a Muslim, an Islamic teaching school. Great. So going back to the Catholics, they were slightly better with their stance on abortion. They did compel everyone to write to their MPs and talk about it, but it's not really going to do much because we don't have a functioning democracy. But their stance, the new Pope's stance on Islam, is as comical as all the others have been. His statements he made last month before, was we're coming to a better agreement and better understanding and mutual respect and working together between the Roman Catholics and the religion of peace. It's just complete nonsense. There's no real orthodox movement in the UK. Are individual churches, but nothing great. But one of the things they don't like, the Orthodox Church doesn't like about the Catholics, is what they did historically in the Crusades. So I struggle with that, because although the Crusades were brutal and horrible, I bet they were probably a necessary evil. See, it's easy when you're the Pope and you're living in a principality known as the Vatican City with great big walls and to protect you and your own security guards, your own, effectively, army. It's easy to talk about understanding and everything else. But all the leaders of the Christian faith, and I think there's about 68,000 different denominations throughout the world. All the leaders, well, they're not stupid. You're not stupid, are you? Now, some of you may be naive, and a lot of you are liberals, so you don't see the world in its reality. You see the world in how you would want the world to be. We just want to be nice to everyone and kind and caring, which is great. But in reality, it doesn't work. How to stop conflict, how to stop wars, whether international wars or civil wars, is to show strength. This is why it's always the elderly, not always, but often, most often, the elderly that get burgled. The house is broken into, because the people, the scumbags doing it, know that there's not going to be any resistance. The chap who hangs a punch bag outside in his garden and spends half an hour a day punching it or doing martial arts or swinging a sword around or anything like that, guess what? He's not a target, because they know that there's going to be resistance. This is a Knights Templar tunic hanging up behind me. Arming sword, helmet, gambeson. strong Christianity, muscular Christianity. So the leadership aren't stupid. Some of them are naive. But I think most of you are complicit in what's happening. You understand. You know the history of Persia, Iran. You know the history of Lebanon. You understand what's happening. Yet you say nothing. You do nothing. Your churches are converted into Islamic centres or burned down in France, mainly France. Loads, I don't know how many, 100? Maybe more, burned down over the last few years. Where's the strong messaging? Nowhere. You know what's going on, but you sit there and say nothing. You will not be forgiven. You will be judged by your fruits, by your actions, rather than what you say. Weak, pathetic. I'm fairly sure most of you have no faith at all. It's just a job. I remember years ago talking to a chap. I was at a funeral and I'd given a little talk at a funeral, and this chap came up to me after and said, you should become a vicar. And I said, well, I'm not really sure, how I feel about everything. And he said, oh, it doesn't matter. My dad was a vicar all his life and he didn't really have any faith. Amazing. There's a piece of music in the description below. It's an old Crusaders piece of music. And I'm talking now not to the leadership, but I'm talking to those of you who are watching this video who feel the same way that I do, and many, many others do. So this is this piece of music in the link below in the description. A Crusaders piece of music. Listen to it. Close your eyes. Let the music wash over you. And steel yourself for what's coming. Steel yourself. And hold the line. Hold the line.